Hello, and welcome to another Goblin panel live. This time, the goblins in residence is me, John Denor. We also have Paul,
Hello.
Ananam,
Dzień dobry.
and Frederica.
Hello.
As you might notice, the panel has changed a bit since last time. We're featuring more Europeans this time, which is it's a slow takeover.
I ate Cameron.
I'm isolated.
Yeah. Cameron was fired.
North America.
We fed him to the Goblin Queen.
Yeah, we've had him to Caillou, and then we fired Caillou. I don't know. Do they eat people in Brazil?
Let's
we have
not
no
go
South
down that
American
road.
representation, so we have no way of knowing.
Robert, can't wait
That's
to
false.
hear the Polish and the Brazilian fans fight on Twitter now.
Yeah.
What we're instead going to talk about, instead of the culinary habits of Brazilians, is the stuff that's been happening in the MCDM / Straw Steel / Crows community in the past month or so. So the first point in the agenda that we put together is the Crows playtest.
Oh,
Has anyone had the chance to look at it or even maybe play?
I've played it.
Oh yeah. And are on record as having done so.
Yes. I have many opinions.
I'm gonna have a cute smile because I am probably the only one who hasn't played it yet, but I did read it.
Frederica, let's start out with you. You having played it and even talked a bit about it on your video. But what are some more hot takes?
Okay, well, I think the best, if you want like a really clippable thing for me to say, it's that I think that it is, I need to tab this out. I saw an echo of myself. I think that my hottest take is that I think it basically feels like playing D&D in the fact that it doesn't feel playtested. Like, I hate to break it to them, but like they've brought back a lot of things that they fixed with Draw Steel. And then the changes they've made, they've brought them back in. Like, you have the I miss my turn dice. You have the everything just feeling like random nice dice rolls and there being no real tactics. You're just smacking things. So I feel like it's in a okay place, but I wouldn't call it a great place. Like, often when I've playtest stuff in the past, it feels like it starts off in this place of being a little bit bad, a little bit kind of meh, just a little bit porridgey, a little bit oatmeal-y. And I'm just there like, I'm very excited to see where they take it. But I think right now there's a lot that doesn't work yet.
Paul, what's been your experience playing it?
Well, I've run 2 sessions. One for a group of 3 very seasoned TTRPGers and people very familiar with Draw Steel, so they understand the power role and heroic fantasy. And then I just ran it last night at one of my local tavern events. And for for one person, it was their first time ever playing a tabletop role-playing game, which is wild. For another person, the only other TTRPG she had ever played was an alternate universe TTRPG. I'm not sure if any of you are familiar with those. I've just recently learned about them, and it's by my friend Lucas, called Coffee Shop Alternative Universe. Anyway, very, very different from a classic, like even D&D esque. So all that to say, 2 very different groups of people. And I loved it. I loved it from the very beginning. I love especially we ran the Blood Library provided in the playtest packet. The first group, we played for 4 hours. They got out of the Blood Library. Nobody died. The second group, they only got into the first room in about 3 hours of play because their overland travel experience was way more in depth. And for me, I think you might be on record, Frederica, as saying you don't really like the overland travel rules. I love them. Can we curse?
Yeah.
Okay, great. I fucking love them. I love that there are.
You're in Europe now. We're allowed to curse
right.
here.
Great. I
Paul.
love that there are individual roles that you can adopt, and that each thing, obviously, yes, it's in playtesting. It needs more development, clearly. Some things like questions came up and there wasn't an easy answer. But I love Draw Steel, and I love the mechanics and the fantasy that Draw Steel provides. But I also really love the vibe of Crows and the I know it's not OSR, but the OSR, certainly more OSR adjacent than Draw Steel, and that that, I don't know, I guess spirit of guidelines as opposed to rules. So that feeling much more empowered as the ref to be like, okay, that's a really good question. Either I haven't read it in the actual rules, but I feel confident making a ruling right now and then moving on. Yeah, long story short, I fucking loved both sessions, and I especially loved being able to kill a player last night too. That was terrific.
A player
Sorry,
character, I hope.
Well, Paul, I feel like I might have some bad news for you, because as far as I understand the reception of the overland travel rules, I feel like a lot of people didn't like them, and James Introcaso posted just today that the travel rules are getting a major overhaul.
What?
So
My big question for you, Paul, as someone who
Sorry.
liked them, is did you not have the same experience as my group, that like there's no gameplay there? There's just, I mean, it depends if you consider rolling dice as gameplay, but there's no oh, I want to do this, so this. It's just
Right.
you are this guide, so you just roll a dice, and like we found that got very repetitive very quickly, and it didn't create any space for interesting stories or role plays or scenes. It was just, I am the guide, I roll dice.
Right.
How
And
good guide
done.
am I?
Yeah, done of your
Yeah.
That is an excellent point. And it emerged last night that became characterful role play because of what my players rolled on the miasma effects table.
Interesting.
Yeah, but that is really, regardless of that, that's really up, I think, to individual group dynamic. Because for one group, it's like, okay, we do this job, we roll the dice, that's it, we move on. There's nothing especially implicit for characterful role play to emerge from that. Hi. But my
Busted.
two players rolled on the miasma effects, and they could both only speak lies, which was delightful because one of the other players last night wasn't really catching on that they were being deceitful. So it was delightful, but
Interesting.
I 100% agree with your point, Frederica, that like, yeah, there's no nothing emerges from that except for unless you choose to let it become more elaborate. Yeah, and that also makes me sad that he's changing the rules. But you know what? He's the lead designer, and he's a much better game designer than I am, so I trust James Introcaso.
we do not know what he's changing the rules into. Maybe there will be more miasma.
Fantastic.
All you
I
need is
know
some
it's-
miasma in your life, right?
I also think there could be the element that, like, because they're so randomized, I feel like one of the reasons why I think my group didn't like them is for the first hour of my session, my players rolled nothing but tier 1s and the occasional tier 2. And I think that made the game feel a lot less fun, because it was just like, oh, we just died. There was no drama. There was no, oh, it's good and then bad. It was just
Right.
bad from the
It's
very
just bad.
start.
Yeah. John, you've run one session, 2 sessions of Crows?
2 sessions, yeah.
2 sessions. What's your experience been?
A lot of travel. We've played 2 3-hour sessions, the same group. They, at the end of the second session, they got to the blood library.
Nice.
I think there is
Wait. At the end of the second session?
at the end of the second one.
Wow.
So we spent 2 sessions. Now, in fairness, there have been a lot of a chatter that's not gameplay related within those 3-hour sessions. So it's probably more like 2.5 of effective gameplay time, but still, we spent 5 hours almost getting to the blood library. I think out of the 5 crows that we started with, I think 1, maybe 2 survived. One crow showed up, got into a combat, died during the combat, and was immediately replaced. They only in game they only spent 2 hours with one of the other crows and then died.
Amazing.
Well, I heard friendly fire from ranged weapons is crazy, right? Did you
That
guys
hasn't come up with us yet, actually.
Yeah, that's how my player that's how she died last night, because the illusionist tossed an acid vial and got a tier 1 and instead hit her, and she died. She had 1 wound left, to be fair.
Yeah,
rest in peace?
But yeah, really we're playing again on Thursday. I'm really looking forward to getting into the library. And I think from what I've seen others report from their games is that the library is like a lot more fast paced than the travel has been. And for our part, there have been quite a lot of role play between the players too, where they interact a lot when the new crow shows up. There's a lot of interaction between them and the ones being on watch, which kind of slows down the play a bit, which I don't necessarily dislike. But at the end of the second day, I think we were all pretty happy that we were like, okay, now we're finally here. We can finally get going on the meat of this adventure.
Yeah.
That was my big complaint of the overland travel, is like, for me, overland travel is something I don't want to spend too much time with in any TTRPG, because I feel like it's very easy to get obsessed with travel needing to be realistic, which it really doesn't. Like most movies, travel is just a montage test. When they invented the montage test, I was like, this is the best thing ever for travel. Well, not they invented it, but you know what I mean? Like, I was like, this is travel, right? And so when I did it, I had a similar experience where it was going really, really slowly. We've got through like 1/3 of the way there in an hour. I knew we had about 3 hours to play. So at that point, it was just like, no, we're not doing this overland travel stuff anymore. This is not engaging gameplay. This is just like, oh, well, there's only 6 random encounters, and they're not like interesting encounters. They're just monsters. Or one NPC. I was like, no, we don't need to do this.
Yeah, well, the dungeon is far away in the playtest exactly for the reason of wanting to test the overland rules, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
James said so.
Yeah. I just gotta say that I really love the choice to include something as extraordinary as Blood Library as the first dungeon published. Because, you know, I expected like a cave or like cellar under a ruined church or something, but no, Blood Library, you gotta swim through blood.
Yeah, and it's all scabbed over by
Yeah, it's so
meat.
fucking gross.
Yeah,
And,
I love it.
and it's been closed for ages, but now someone's cut away the
hacked
scab.
through the
Yeah, they
scab.
hacked through the scab,
Yeah.
and now it's open.
Yeah.
It's so nasty.
Yeah, I felt kind of guilty, like, again, because I had a person playing there. I was like, I'm shepherding you into the TTRPG hobby, and I'm about to describe this fleshy pustule that is, draped over a necromancer's, sanctum. It's like, well, if you like this, then you're going to love tabletop role-playing games. So,
Yeah.
I saw someone in the Discord mention that one of their players had hemophobia.
hold on, hold on, rewind. Hemophobia.
Yeah,
Yes,
yeah.
as
Pride
in
Month.
they react to the sight and most likely the discussion of blood. So someone suggested, oh yeah, the slime library, yes.
Yeah, nice.
It's not
Pull the
blood, it's
Chinese
ketchup.
video game thing of Blue Blood.
Oh, yeah.
You know, it was interesting running it as someone who has been known to faint at the description of gory levels of blood. I was very there like, I need to be careful how I describe for my own sake.
What happened to Frederica?
Yeah, for real.
How have you? What's your? How should I put this? What do you think of the idea of the monsters not having like proper names? They only have these colloquial names, and that the players are supposed to name them. Have you played around with that idea at all?
Well, it's funny because in the end they did include some names for the monsters. In the community, on Reddit and on Discord, people will come up with a name and it's gonna stick. I really doubt it. People gonna be like, yeah, of course, Blood Monster M or Blood Monster B. That's not gonna happen probably. And I think anticipating this MCDM or James already put like, Blood Spider there or something like this. We already got some common names for the thing. Why not just name it? I don't know. It feels like it's very weird to me currently. I understand what they were going for, but in the community, these things are going to have a name because people are not gonna memorize like, yeah, the C is a spider and the M is a blood golem or whatever, right?
That's an interesting point. that like there needs to be a common like lexicon, as it were, to refer to these. Like if we're going to have a conversation, like is this monster balanced? We need to have that common term to refer to. Like, hey, let's talk about blood creature A, and that just doesn't feel as fun as saying like the Manticore or Zoranox, right? But I do love the intention behind that. That it's embracing folklore. And this post-apocalyptic world where we don't have a common vernacular for these mysterious monsters that, you know, maybe we've heard about them, but it's extremely unlikely. So why would you have a common name for this entity that you're encountering for the first time? You're like, oh shit, that's a nightmare. That's what I'm encountering. I'm encountering like a true like nightmare of nightmares, you know, something evil, right? And so I do love the intention. I'm interested to see what will occur as discourse continues to develop around crows, and if we have those kinds of conversation as referees about, hey, what did you think about the combat against fill in the blank? But then again, it might be fine to refer to it as right now the way it stands is, hey, yeah, so they fought 15 blood creature A's last night, and yeah, that might be fine. I don't know.
I think a thing I've been thinking a lot about lately is I feel like maybe this is too grand a point, but I feel like there's kind of two types of TTRPGs, and there's those that assume that you find the difficult part is coming up with cool things to put in your game, and those that assume that you struggle to take cool things and make cool things out of them. So Crows is the assumption is that the thing you want help with is putting them together into interesting dungeons or interesting overland travel. And what you're going to be really good at is, oh, I've got this unnamed blood creature. Let me call it something cool. Let me describe that to my players. Let me turn that into a really engaging, dramatic, suspense-filled encounter. Whereas Draw Steel is very much like, oh, you want cool things, but we trust you to make cool encounters out of them. We're going to give you a set of really cool things for you to use to make your own story, if that makes sense as a comparison. And I feel like it's that kind of thing of like, oh, we don't have exact names for them, we're going to call them Blood Creature A. It's like, well, is the thing, if I have generic monster, Blood Monster A, from my perspective as a rep and a director, I'm like, I literally don't need that. Like, I can make generic Blood Monster A and then call it whatever I want. Why have you even given me the stat block at this point? Like, why not just give me a set of number ranges to build my own stat blocks? Like, why give stat blocks if you're not going to give them personality at that point? You might as well everything might just be one generic stat block. That's obviously quite an extreme opinion for a podcast. Maybe it's a little bit too extreme, but you know what I mean.
Whoa! Well, they do have personality. They just don't have names.
Yeah,
but like
they have a little personality.
In my opinion, they're a stat block with a piece of art next to them. That's not the same thing as it having personality. You can apply personality to it because it has stat blocks, but the abilities don't do anything particularly unique. There's nothing that makes them special. There's no, as far as I remember from running it, there was no like trait ancestral blood creature ability thing. I think maybe there is something, but that's having a piece of art next to a stat block does not make the stat block unique.
No, that helps have it be evocative for the players, but for your job as a referee. Yeah, and I think I really interesting point. Frederica. Yeah, go ahead, Matt.
I gotta say that it makes sense to make the stat blocks as simple as possible because it simplifies the game and makes it quicker. And I guess that's what the game is going for. But at the same time, I do prefer more complexity, and I do prefer stat blocks from like Draw Steel, obviously, because they are super interesting, super cool. Like Matt Colville always says that directors giggle when they see what they can do with their monsters, right? With malice abilities. I'm not saying introduce malice to the game, but I do like stat blocks being more unique, and that's one of the things I don't really like that it got, again, I am misusing the word because it's not like they stole it, but similar RPGs like Shadow Dark and some OSR stuff do have very, very simple stat blocks, and I am not a fan.
Well, let's be fair too.
Nave,
that there is, and I don't know. Hey, if you're watching this and you haven't played Crows, cover your ears maybe for a second, but there is, or you haven't played and you're gonna play the Blood Library, but there is an interesting, let's just say it this way, there's an interesting entity that the players can interact with, and they could get into combat with that individual. They have a stat block, and that stat block is much more elaborate than the other run-of-the-mill, even if you want to use that term, blood creatures that are running rampant in the Blood Library. So there is at least one order more, maybe even 2 orders more complexity, because they have all these extra abilities that happen, on a tier 3, or if they kill a creature, et cetera, et cetera. But at the same time, complexity is not what Crows is about either, right? Like, that's not what this game is about. It's about quick, brutal combat, maybe not even necessarily quick, even though turns do take a lot less time. But to rewind for a second to your point, Frederica, about like, I don't even know necessarily. That like deserves a whole nother like podcast episode to unpack that. But I first want to at least say I'm not sure if those are at least on 2 ends of the same spectrum, if that even is a spectrum. However, I do really think that's fascinating. That it's like, if we agree that what you say is true, that like on one end we have complex monsters, complex scenarios, but then it's up to the director to assemble, and then a game like Crows where it's a scenario we've created, but it's simple components. Yeah, I think I have to think about that. That's really interesting.
I agree that it's not a spectrum.
Yeah.
And particularly if we assume that it's not a binary spectrum, possibly it's like a 4 quadrants or however we want to, like a political compass, whatever.
It's like
right, it's
axes,
2026. Right? It's a political compass now. But I would say, like, if it isn't a spectrum, then I think my point would be, I don't think we're holding MCDM to a high enough standard. If we say, yep, you can't, if you went back to Draw Steel, we'd have all said, no, this is impossible. No. I want James to make stat blocks, which are both simple and fast to play at the table and super brutal and really cool. We shouldn't have to sacrifice it being cool to make it fast. Those are not mutually exclusive things.
Indeed.
I'm going to break in with some breaking news because it looks like the Red Road was just released.
Yeah, I just got an email.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The Red Road.
The Red
Road just
come.
went out to patrons. I just got a notification.
It's no coincidence we got Red Road when talking about Blood Library.
Ah.
It's all blood, you see.
Guys, the big man is listening. He's trying to MCDM are trying to distract us. We were being too mean about Crows, and they're like, no, the PR team have got out there.
They are talking about the overland travel too long. Let's distract them.
The PR team of none at MCDM.
Yeah.
And
there's Jeff.
Yeah, Jeff being like, Jerry, push the button. No.
Yeah. All of this with a massive grain of salt too, right? Because this is literally the first public playtest.
Yes.
And already generating, I think, really fruitful conversation. Yeah, I'm really excited to see what comes next with the playtest. So.
Yeah, I think everything I say should be caveated with the fact that I did enjoy the session. I know it sounds like
that's good to hear.
I talk about it. Like, this is the exact same experience I had when I playtested. Like, I playtested Draw Steel in like November 2024. Exact same experience. Where I was like, this just isn't cooked yet. Like, this is very much still in the oven. You know.
Indeed.
Yeah, I'm really looking forward to how I remember looking at the encounter table for the travel rules and just seeing, okay, these are 5 monster encounters and 1 like NPC encounter, and it only happens once. And my players rolled it as, I rolled it as the first encounter the players got.
With the alchemist?
Was the alchemist.
Oh, cool.
So that was like, okay, well, that's all the flavor gone. So now it's just monsters from here. That was interesting to see, but I'm really looking forward to see where James takes it after this playtest. I think it's going to get a lot of interesting feedback. But moving on to the next piece on the agenda, which is the summoner and the license. I've just named it after the video because I don't know. There's something catchy about an ampersand. Um,
Yeah, like trolls and tunnels.
exactly. The canonical example. So I just wanted to talk a bit about the summoner because Goblin panel wasn't the thing when the summoner released for Black Friday last year. Have any of you played as a summoner or played with a summoner or directed for a summoner?
I played with a summoner, or like 3 of them.
3 of them.
I'm
Not at the
directing
same time. Not at the same time.
Okay.
Sorry. No. That would be
That's what she
crazy.
Wow.
Yeah. Yeah, I think at the very least, I remember Renee playing in one of Cameron's games with me. It's funny because I think it was one of the adventures that we played that Cameron is editing for like half a year or more now. Because it was, it was like a year ago, my god. But yeah, I did play with some summoners. Summoners are pretty cool. Even though I've read the class like twice now, when I am not playing one, I mean, I've never played one, but I have hard time trying to understand what the summoner does, like in detail. Overall, I understand it, but I would have to be one or play one to fully understand what the summoner is capable of. It's a very cool but very different class, right? But I like how it is different. I really like that Josil allows for this kind of very unique, more complex design. But yeah, masterclass.
Go, Frederica, go.
Having run for it, I don't think it's more complex than the other classes.
Okay.
I don't think it is. I just think we forgot how complex the classes were the first time we played Draw Steel. Like it is one of the more simple classes. The turns play out pretty similarly. There's not much going on. Assuming that you're not, I think that a lot of the issues come from directors not having, like, if you, like, when you come from like D&D, fundamentally how you challenge a tactician is very similar to how you challenge a fighter, whether we want to acknowledge that they are similar problems, right? Right. But because we've not had 10 years, or for lots of you, 20, 30, how many years that we don't want to talk about, 40 years maybe for some of you, of running, like if you were running since you were 13, right? Let's...
I have to go now. That's the end of the stream.
But like, you don't have that mental experience of how do you challenge a necromancer? And I think, in my experience, the complaint I've heard from directors about it, and I've seen and I've heard other people I know who run it, are very much, not to put it that's a bit blunt, but like it's kind of a skill issue. It's like challenging the summoner is just a different set of problems, you know? Because yeah, you can just kill all their minions and they're not going to have fun, or you can kill none of their minions and they're going to feel really powerful. But there is middle ground here. There's you can use the skill the same way you are going to let the sensor's judge abilities go off sometimes. You're not going to be like, you've judged this creature, I'm not going to take main actions anymore. You're always doing that little dance. And I just think we need more time as directors to learn how the summoner plays. And once you get your head around it, it's just fun. It's just really, really fun.
Yeah, fortunately, there is a section for the directors how to challenge a summoner player, right?
Yeah, it's so good.
And also, I just want to say that even if it's not complex to play, it feels complex because you have so many bodies on the map, you know? Like
that it can feel that complex. Just to weigh in here, I've directed several sessions for summoners, and have played alongside summoners so far, and I didn't get a chance to play one yet. And the only part where I will agree that they're complicated is, at least insofar as they are complicated to build, especially if you don't have something like Forged Steel. So I am so happy. Well, I should speak. I found it very complicated to build a summoner. I had character build, concept, everything. But I found it very, very challenging to assemble just with the PDF. So I'm really looking forward to it being in Forge Steel and getting a chance to play it, and in the
already
Codex.
is.
I know. Well, yes, soon.
No. It's right now.
It's in Forge Steel right now.
Yes, and the icon posted on Blue Sky like 1 hour ago.
Wow,
It's in it.
amazing.
Yeah.
Okay, well, hey, I'm gonna, after this is over, I'm gonna build a summoner.
Yeah,
Anyway,
I do want to.
the only point I
Go-
wanted
go
to
for it.
make is that as a director, I didn't feel that the turns took any longer than any other class. And I think, to your point, Frederica, that if you are familiar with Draw Steel and you play a summoner, it's the exact same experience, because and maybe you're like moving more individuals around on the map, of course, but it's still just, it's still the same sequence. Yeah, and in my experience, it took the same amount of time. So
I'd say it can feel complex, but I don't think it like at level 1, which is my experience with it, but a lot of the game I feel like is experience at the moment. There's a lot of echelon 1 experience, but I would say like it's no more complex than when you have a troubadour dramatic reversal and then the next turn the talent flashback that dramatic reversal. Like that is just as the game gets just as confusing at that point as it does for anything the summoner can do. I just think that the summoner doesn't get more complex as they get more of essence, I think it is. Where with a lot of the classes, it's like they start off not very like the tactician's just going to hit people, and then by the time they've got 5 focus and they're doing hammer and anvil and there's marked effects happening all the time, you're like, wow, this is crazy. But the summoner starts off, you get the first combat and they're like, right, so now I summon 2 demons, and then they always go to take their turn first because everyone's super excited the first time you play it, and they summon more demons, and you go from there being nothing on the battle map to like however many undead, and you're like, what is happening? But actually, it's pretty chill once you get your head around it.
I know
John?
from playing with Cameron that he has a special place reserved for the summoner. But in his defense, he has also been screwed over by the playtest version a lot, which needed some tweaking before its final final version. Yeah,
I had a really bad experience. I banned the summoner at my table for like 4 months until it came out officially, because I played with the playtest one, and I was like, when I played with the playtest, it was like there was the heroes, the director, and the summoner player. And it really felt like there was equal amounts of time spent on those 3 groups of people, and this was in a 6-player group.
yeah. Okay, that I also think I saw someone commenting on I think Reddit, where they said that if the summoner player does not plan their turn at least a little bit before they go, it can take a really long time. Most of the other players can kind of get around not planning too much before they take their turn. It depends, but for the summoner, they, especially once they get a lot of like minions on the map, they need to have like an idea where to put them at least, and what they're supposed to do, and which ones to sacrifice, and what to summon, to kind of keep the momentum going. Because if you then start thinking, well, I've got 8, so where do they go exactly? Then it's too late.
Masterclass.
If you're a player who struggles to pick what maneuver to do on your turn, if you don't just kind of know what maneuver you want to do, don't play the summoner. You won't have fun. Like if you have any level of analysis paralysis and you struggle to make, if you're like, wow, I have too many options in Draw Steel, I don't know what to do with them all, don't play a summoner. You will not have fun. I would recommend a Beast Heart for those kind of players, but don't play a summoner.
I'm right now having a PTSD attack with being reminded of my friends who overanalyze things in 5e, waiting what to do on their turn. I'm like, you got like 2 options.
I have a friend who I run for on a Sunday night. Hi Rowan, if you're listening. And they are an overanalyzer in D&D. And when they first started playing Draw Steel, I got close to bringing in a turn timer for them. I was like, this is getting ridiculous. Like you can't be taking this long. And they picked the tactician because it was my first time running Draw Steel. I couldn't warn them, and they were just there like, there's so many choices. Every time someone hit the marked creature, they'd have to think about all of the possible things they could do with the marked trigger, and it was just not it.
I recently played a sensor for the first time, and I'm really happy I did in the codex because I would have gotten analysis paralysis looking at the judgment ability,
Oh,
which is
yeah.
just like it's it's a page unto itself. Having oh man, having to keep track of that all the time. Whew.
Yeah.
Anytime someone complains about the summoner being crazy, I'm just like, you've not played with a sensor who knows what they're doing. Playing with a sensor who knows what they're doing is the worst thing as a director. It just ends all. It can really end your fun, particularly if you have a solo. If the sensor really has built their character to make your life miserable.
Yeah, and
Well-
if you have a lot of wrath, then
Yeah. I've played a sensor actually in Paul's game. How was it, Paul?
which sensor did you play?
Balthazar, who pulled
Oh, was that in Cradle of
creatures.
Fire?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I was
I mean,
pulling
I loved it.
creatures into the desert, right?
Yeah, I thought it was fantastic.
It
And I'm
was
playing a
super cool.
sensor right now in one of Cameron's games. Sorry, Cameron. We love you.
We just played against Repeater from your adventure, Paul, to defy the stars.
Wait,
And Cameron was actually upset at the end of it because of how much they were denied. It almost felt bad as the players for like the director were like, I could have done so much but nothing.
that's extremely exciting that there was combat against the Herald of Zax. We'll have to wait to watch it when it's released.
It was Herald against Avatar because I was a censor of
Oh.
Zax.
Wow.
Nice.
Maybe now you're
Anyway,
the new Herald.
Can
enough
I-
about-
Wait,
don't have
John,
time.
can I throw off your schedule real quick? I have a question for the group.
Oh no. Yes. go ahead.
Like genuine question here because I think it would be interesting. Where do you guys stand on designing encounters in Draw Steel to specifically, like, if you know that you have a sensor and they do really well against solo creatures, where do you stand on like deliberately designing an encounter to be like, this player has been annoying me, I'm going to design a stat block or an encounter to specifically stop them
Pro.
being annoying and show them
100%
who's
pro.
boss?
Absolutely.
Interesting.
Always
'cause I'm pretty
always
negative on
have,
it.
always have if you've got a solo, always toss in some extra horde. Obviously not to like stack the encounter so it becomes, if it's hard to make it necessarily deadly, but I am super pro in tossing in more enemies into the initiative, especially to throw off. I wouldn't say necessarily a specific player. I don't want anyone to feel like they're ever being targeted. But absolutely, if there's a sensor in the party, and yeah, I always think about that when designing encounters now against a solo. I'm like, if someone's a sensor in the party, then that's gonna really dramatically change the feel and potentially the outcome of, as case in point, what you just shared, John. Yeah, so I'm pro fucking over the sensor. Yeah, not the player. The sensor.
Ajax has given us permission. What do you mean I'm hesitating?
That's right.
Who's hesitating? It is literally designed for the shadow, which I think
Very fair.
kind of gives us permission to especially design around certain
Specific class abilities,
yes
features.
I think so, and at least when I'm playing Draw Steel, I feel like it's part of the spirit of the game to design encounters that feel like they fit the heroes. I feel Draw Steel is the kind of game that it doesn't say that explicitly, I think, in the rules, but I feel like it's the game that kind of implies it, that these are heroes going on a heroic journey, and of course they're going to meet something that feels like an appropriate challenge. Like they need that what's the fancy word for like when the heroes kind of have like their low moment when everything seems hopeless. Of course you need to have an enemy in an encounter that's like, shit, I've been so effective in all these combats and now we've come across this whatever, and they are punishing me so hard because of who I am, basically, which is they need that low point to kind of bounce back after.
Agreed. I think it's definitely a sometimes food. It's something you do.
Yes.
I feel like it's like, for me, I don't think it's saying it should be in every encounter, but I feel like if your antagonist, if your villain isn't doing that, then it's probably an issue. Whereas like if it's just like hey, you've hit a random encounter at a bridge or whatever, like
Right.
then it's different. That was kind of, but it's interesting to know what you guys are coming from.
Yeah, that's an important caveat, right? That if it's a random encounter, whatever. Although we don't have time for this, but I hate random encounters. I think it's more like.
But you were like saying you liked the crows. How
that's
did you
in
like
crows.
the crows
It's crows,
overland
that's
travel?
different.
And
You are full of
different.
contradictions, Paul.
no, I'm crashing out like Cameron now.
By
but
definition, I'm a human. I'm
I
full of
never,
contradictions.
I never did a random encounter in Draw Steel, but even
I-
in other systems, I'm like, okay,
I-
I'm gonna pretend it's a random encounter, but I have it pre-prepared, right?
I love random encounters in Draw Steel. I think random encounters in Draw Steel are great.
Whoa.
I genuinely like. I find them. I think that one of the best. In my head. Oh, sorry, I'm so far off a side tangent now, John. I'm so sorry for your agenda. But, like, I find so. You know the issue in Skyrim where Bethesda. This is such a weird niche, but Bethesda really hard coded in that like every encounter would respond to the player's actions, right? So if you go off and do a different thing, even if you spent the whole time grinding early on, leveled up super high, when you go to the first adventure, you're still going to find it hard because they've scaled it. And I found early on in Draw Steel that it's really easy as the director to every encounter put it just at that like sweet spot where it's just above just coming to a hard encounter where the players like you do the classical, oh, it's round 1, everything's fine, round 2 sucks, round 3 we win, right? It's really, really easy to always be in that sweet spot. And I realized that it's actually really fun to have some encounters that are kind of fixed or slightly random where you can just let the players either be in a situation where they might lose or be in a situation where they might win. And allowing and random encounters, in my experience, have been quite a good way to build that in. So I'm not saying it's like a random encounter where we're like walking through the dungeon and I've rolled a random encounter and checking, oh, look, 5 of the exact same monster walk in. I'm saying like, if they're traveling, I might prep six encounters that could occur. And I have the maps prepared and I've got them backed up across, like you can use them in multiples adventures and stuff. But it adds those kind of like moments where you have, it can be interesting. Like if they pushed themselves too far on the victories, on the recoveries, and then they're traveling back. And now that's a really engaging, dramatic fight because they're low enough that you kind of have this like, this gameplay that emerges from that randomness.
Okay, but like you got 6 encounters, are they prepared like in advance? Do you know the squads and the map and all of this? Because I have to maximize fun for my players because we play so rarely. So I would rather have like 1 or 2 encounters I am fully prepared for and I know they are gonna be fun than just like roll for random monsters and stuff. Are your encounters prepared in advance?
Yeah, like I will say like this, I will say like I have quite a lot of maps sitting around now, so I'll be like, okay, on like a kind of standard roadmap, put this set of squads in, or like if it was like a goblin themed adventure, be like, okay, this is what I know an encounter squad would look like. This is the kind of thing they might be doing. You can't throw a Draw Steel encounter together at once. But I've run Draw Steel a slightly silly amount now, and I find that I can actually just throw together encounters pretty quickly because as long as you make a note of how much EV do I have to spend, you can just know. You can just go blah, 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 buy stuff and throw them on the battle map. And particularly if you're using a BTT which is lighter, which doesn't need as much work to set up as Foundry or Codex are saying, if you're playing in person, you just draw lines on the map, right? Like it could be really fast to get those stuff going.
Mm-hmm. Well, one problem I can potentially see, but it's not exclusive to Draw Steel, or maybe it is, I don't know, is like it might be a very anticlimax end to a campaign when you're returning from somewhere. You're getting a random encounter, you're low on recoveries, and a band of random goblins wipe your party.
I mean, there's still room for the like scoping that in. I wouldn't throw an encounter that I knew would be deadly in that situation. But for instance, I did once have a very dramatic encounter where they fought someone they let go about 3 hours earlier. It was just one person, and it wouldn't have even been risky for them. But one of the players was literally dying because they were out of recoveries, they were out of healing potions, they had no way to get this player up, and so that encounter became very intense.
Okay.
I think Total Fern is correct though that we're probably not communicating our definitions of random effectively, which is a very good call.
Yeah,
Those
I've
don't
come
sound
across
like
that
random
before.
encounters.
I've come across that before in discussion about random encounters, that people tend to have different definitions of how random and what random means.
Yeah, well, it's different when you've got like random tables in D&D when you roll one of 100 results,
Oh,
and one
God.
result is one young red dragon, and the other is 2d6 goblins, right? It's quite different in scale. You can roll 2 goblins, or you can roll a red dragon, right?
Also, a random encounter written by somebody else and a random encounter written by yourself, two very, very different prospects. Because you
Yeah.
you can feed it. Also, I'm not against. I have been known to roll a random encounter and go no, and just roll again. Because sometimes you roll a random encounter and go like that one would not be fun. It would be very
Yeah.
unfun.
I did similar in the past when I'm rolling for a random encounter and I'm like, at the time of rolling, I feel like the one with a 4 is the one I should be using, right? Because only in the moment of me rolling the dice, I know which one I really want.
Oh yeah. Once the choice has been made, you realize which one was the right one.
Yeah.
Anyway, sorry for ruining your agenda.
One of the reasons I think why I liked Crows is because I chose to have the alchemist encounter twice. I was like, I don't want just random blood creatures.
Yeah, see, you're already cheating.
Yeah.
So,
I'm playing the
Imagine-
game wrong.
You are
Imagine
supposed to
not
be a
playing-
ref. A
Imagine
ref
not playing exactly
impartial.
by the rules. Ugh.
Yeah. A ref should be impartial, Paul.
It's too late for me.
the Crows rules does specifically say that if it's fun, it's right. But
Oh yeah, thank you, James.
I'm gonna push on as
do it.
Frederica has completely derailed my agenda.
Yes, good.
Um, so the next point is the Vesluria map that was put on the resources page for Draw Steel, which is some new piece of art that's also been. I've at least seen that it's supposed to also go on the director screen.
Mm-hmm.
So my two main points here is. Do you feel the need for a director screen? Because I don't tend to use them. And also, what do you think of the map?
I have never played Draw Steel in person. Most of my experience has been the Codex. I've played some also in the Owlbear Rodeo. So I'm gonna be honest, I don't even have physical books for Draw Steel. Like I've been digital only person.
Someone else
for,
playing the game
for
wrong.
years.
What's going on here?
Don't listen to him. Don't listen to him. My beauty, my precious.
Yeah, what can I say? I don't know if it's a mistake, but I've made a mistake of having like dozens of RPG books. I love having books, but at some point I just realized I've been playing in the Foundry last 6 years, no like in-person playing of TTRPGs. I should stop buying books. Like look behind me. This is like just some of my book collection. These are not RPG books, mind you. These are like normal standard books, but I have similar amount of RPG books. I am not even kidding.
We call that a good beginning.
Yeah, I see. Yeah, understandable.
Me staring up at the wild sea, going, "I will run you one day. I swear."
One day, my sweet love. Yeah.
I've even bought the Birthright campaign setting, boxed set, you know?
I love DM screens, director screens, whatever you call them. I love the. I mean, there's a lot of tradition with that, I suppose, but I also just love. I mean, I think back to the first time when I first was a player and seeing the director or the DM, whomever they were, behind the screen, like, what is behind that? What is there? So I love inspiring that like mysterious imagination in my players. That's not necessarily what's occurring for them, of course, but I love that potential, and I always love having it just in case I roll and it's going to turn into a TPK, and so I need to start fudging numbers. And also just I don't know. I think it's pretty, and I think a good director screen can just like if you add music, like ambiance, to a game session, I think a curated choice of a director screen can really influence a session. Like if you have if you were lucky enough, like us, to have the Ajax edition, having that Ajax director screen. Yeah, I don't now. Okay, I'll stop there because I have feelings about this map as a director screen.
Well, I just want to say one of the coolest things I did in the past. It was like 10 years ago, maybe not, maybe like 7, whatever. I was running Out of the Abyss for my group during like university time, and spoilers for an adventure that came out 10 years ago. Okay, so I had a standard DM screen, and I knew my players are going to encounter out of the sudden. There's a scene where like a town they are in is being attacked by the Prince of Demons, Demogorgon, right? And I bought Dungeon Master screen for Out of the Abyss with Demogorgon on it. So the moment the Demogorgon rises from like this Underdark Sea, and I describe as it emerges, right? I put the Demogorgon Dungeon Master screen in front of the normal screen so that I can see it. Yeah. That was pretty cool.
I'd also say the draw steel one, the one that comes with the Ajax.
Yeah.
The cheat sheet on the back is really genuinely
It's so
useful.
good.
I'm not trolling when I say when I first got it, I would actually sit here playing online and have it next to me as a cheat sheet.
Yeah.
It's that useful.
Wow. I haven't looked at it since I opened the box for the first time. I've when I ran 5th edition in person, I usually used one. I never used the back of it. I had just like the official one
but
that I had back in the day.
The official 5th edition DM screen is terrible and has nothing useful on the back of it.
Yeah, it was it was not really useful, which kind of turned me off of DM screens in general. And when I started running Draw Steel in person, the little that I've done, I always just roll in the open, and all my notes are on my laptop, which I can see anyway. So that's the all of like the screening that I do is that only I can see my laptop screen, and that's all like what I keep away from the players is my notes and maybe some stamina tracking or whatever. Rolling and everything else just happens in the open.
I will say this: if you're playing in person, you know how even though it's never changed once the entire time, you know how you can't remember how malice works when you start an encounter. Very first thing, top left-hand corner. How much malice do you get as the director at the start?
Wait, you mean, Frederica, you don't run all of your encounters using stall, which auto-calculates how much malice?
Oh yes, thank you to Stall for sponsoring this episode of Goblin Points. If you'd like to suggest a question, go over to give John money now. He needs money, lots of money. Here, money. Give money now.
Yeah.
.gov.
Well, if John needs money, he should be sponsored by the Raid Shadow Legends.
No.
I'm here today to talk about the new hero coming to Raid Shadow Legends.
No, stop.
I'm here today to talk about the
John
new
money.
product coming to Until the Last Villain Dies.
Oh, that's a nice product, right?
Yes, a very good product. 100% recommend. I am not paid to say this
Very
anymore.
convincing.
Okay,
I have my money for the marketing.
John, what do you think about this
Spending.
map
Yeah.
as being the image on the director screen?
Well, it's nice if you play in Vasloria.
Yeah, pretty much. But
Very
as we
diplomatic
know,
answer.
a lot of people play in their own settings. So this might be problematic. I mean, it's a nice piece of art, right? It's a nice map.
I think it's a beautiful map. I love this map. My favorite director screen is the one that MCDM put out right after Kingdoms and Warfare.
Yeah.
It's Grace Chung art. It's fucking amazing. It's so good. It's my favorite. I never use any of the ref, like on the back, none of the cheat sheets, but it's like my favorite piece of art. Also, it's a 4-panel director screen, which is the correct number of panels for a director screen. 3 panels. No. You need 4.
Hot take. Disagree.
take.
But you're not the
Whatever.
important thing.
You're wrong. I'm right. I'm just kidding. That's my personal preference. I think 4 is the correct number. because I like to feel enclosed and contained in my little bubble because I need space for laptop and dice rolling tray. Anyway,
Imagine 5, Paul. How about 5?
Oh, now you're talking. Now you're talking. Let's do. Why stop at 5?
Yeah, let's do 9.
Yeah, but I think this. It's a beautiful map, and I don't think it's the right image for a draw steel director screen. One who someone in chat is insane and must be destroyed. One panel.
One panel?
One panel only.
I mean,
Well,
we
John
do
is a
have-
I know who you
one-panel
are,
user
but
with a
you must
laptop.
be destroyed.
we do have one panel here, the Goblin panel, right?
I only just now realized that the Tower of Summoning and the Tower of Necromancy are just across the river from each other.
Oh, that's
And
cute.
also, I also noticed that the grass is greener on this side.
Oh, that's great on the other side.
Genuine question though. Do you guys like run in Orden?
No,
No.
Do you know anyone who runs in Orden
no,
who isn't running the pre-written adventures?
no.
Even the pre-written adventures I would run in my own world, you know?
Same.
Yeah, but the only times I've seen that, I know people who run like genuine question. Who are there people out there? Like,
I think so.
is there enough info to run in
No.
Orden?
Not yet. Maybe.
There
Maybe.
is, if you run pre-written adventures.
I
there's
think
enough.
the argument from Colville's perspective, to keep the mats apart, from Colville's perspective is, if you wonder how something works in Vesloria specifically, Orden is a bit more involved with
Sure.
all the different continents. But if you're running in Vesloria, if you wonder how something works, I think you're just supposed to pick up a history book and look up medieval Europe.
Yeah. Medieval Lives. I know Matt recommended this book.
Isn't that just like if you have to look up history and make stuff up, that's just your own setting then.
Right.
I wouldn't call that
Yeah.
Orden. That's
I
Yeah.
I
What in
think
my
I
order?
think this comes out of, and this is me kind of speculating and based on stuff that I've read and reading between the lines. I think that's coming out of a culture from the early days of D&D, where you were kind of expecting to be a history nerd in addition to a fantasy nerd. That you would kind of know that, oh yeah, I have some like not vague necessarily, but like a fundamental idea of how what's it called, like a feudal system works. And that was just kind of like, everyone knows how, like, roughly how a feudal system works, with serfs and lords and everything.
let me put it this way. I only found out that feudalism was like a thing that had to be invented and had rules and a system this year. I just thought feudalism just described a period when you have a king and like knights.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah,
until
a bit
very
more elaborate.
recently.
See,
And I play Paradox games. I am a history nerd, but not like I'm not that history nerd.
yeah, but I think that's the kind of schism that I see a lot of people when they counter Orden and Vesloria, is that there are very different kinds of assumptions, because I think a lot of people want the setting book that is the encyclopedia, and if you wonder how anything works, you just go and look it up in the alphabetical index. But I feel like Vesloria and Orden is more designed like, yeah, or at least Vesloria is, this is medieval Europe. You know how that works.
Yeah.
We've just
That's-
given you the places and the names.
On one hand, that's true, but also we just, you're looking at a place right now called the Red Tower Red Tower and High Thoros and the Mordvik and Ovar and the Velk and Corwell and Sednia and Ovaria. These are all places that somebody, probably Matt Colville, named.
Yeah.
We know nothing about them, and
Sure.
I want to know what they're about. Right? Like, if I'm going to choose to run a game in someone else's setting, I want to have at least some baseline information. Well, maybe even more really than baseline. I want to have, like, who's in charge of the Tower of Fire? What is the Tower of Fire? Why is it different from the Tower of Enchantment? Now, like, again, I can make up that stuff on my own, and that's totally cool. And I'm
Why
inspired.
is it made of wood?
Right, and It does look like it's made of wood, and that's a very
Yeah.
interesting detail. Now,
Yeah.
like,
That's why
Yeah,
it's on fire constantly. That's why it's
I would
Tower
say
of Fire.
the map is probably it's somewhat successful because looking at it, I get inspired. Right, like looking at it, I see the
Yeah.
Tower of Illusion and Necromancy, or whatever it was summoning. I'm like, oh shit, that's so cool. I want to go to there. I want to run an adventure all about the Tower of Fire. And what's up with the desert past the mountains? Blah blah blah. Why is that place called Sky Moss like elevated? So I have all these questions, and so the map is successful in that it's causing me to be inspired. But again, my perspective, I think that I don't want that as a director screen.
Well-
I'll probably still buy it because I want
Gotta
a
tell
new
you
director
this.
screen.
Gotta tell you this, Paul.
Tell me.
I've heard like next month a very cool setting product should come out. It's called Bogates of Kingsmire. Ribbit.
Oh,
At some point, Matt, I'm just gonna have to stop you from plugging your own shit. It's not funny here.
and yet you include his own material in the show notes.
Yeah,
Matt, if he stops you, you have my PayPal. I can do it for you.
Okay. Yeah. I'm just
a
gonna do.
conspiracy.
I'm just gonna do this,
And Boggins.
and the ads will flow.
I think my final question would be, I don't know. Okay, maybe this is a strong take, but like, I don't need a setting to help me come up with the name the Tower of Fire, or like Morvik. I can do that. I can put lines on a map and put names on them and grab assets. Incarnate exists, other things exist. You can get a very passable map that will make your players go, wow, I want to explore these places. I can do that very quickly. The thing I can't do quickly is figure out why the Tower of Fire is the Tower of Fire and write 200 years of history about the Tower of Fire and how that connects to the local town and how the local town has this relationship and there's a whole religion to the Tower of Fire. I mean, I can bullshit up something right now, but I can't make it that detail where the players can find a tome and I can give them these like pieces of information. And like, it's cool. It's a cool piece of art, but I'll appreciate art in TTRPG products, but art are not the TTRPG products.
I'm just gonna comment on Morvik as the last thing here, because in Norwegian this literally translates to Mother Bay, which is weird because it's not near any water. There's one over here,
Oh, interesting.
but that's not part of the bay. Anyway,
Is Veek Bay?
yeah.
Yeah, good.
Paul showing off his Norse.
No,
influence.
I was like, I thought I knew that, but just making sure.
Next, moving on unceremoniously. The last two topics on the agenda is both VTT related, but this one is Foundry related. This is the interesting section of a very long post from the team over at Foundry VTT, where they do a year in review because they just turned 6 years, Foundry, which is insane. For the version 1 release, if I remember correctly. But in the list of game systems installed on Foundry, of course, Dungeons and Dragons 5th Edition is reigning supreme. It's both interesting that it's 62. It's installed on 62% of all instances, and then played by in over half of them. That is an interesting discrepancy, but also very interesting just as a number. But all the way down at place 27, Draw Steel, climbing 169 places in the past year.
I have a question here. There's two important questions here. One, does D&D come pre-installed with Foundry?
No.
Oh, okay, cool. Well, that thing's.
I mean,
But also, did you see, like, on this, did you see Bob the World Builder, different to the
Bob the
other one? Different to the other Bob the
They're
Builder.
the same.
They're not the same person, Jane. When he polled his community, Draw Steel was like the 5th most played game in their community.
Favorite.
Yeah, like it-
But he did ask them whether or not they played their favorite game. But there was like a long tail of like, oh, my favorite game is like this very obscure one that you didn't list in the thing, and they probably never get to play it. Like if someone picked Nobilis, who's there can't be many people running that regularly.
But I
Only
don't.
one person,
I don't.
and their name is Quinn.
I would assume that very few people would put down their favorite game as something they've never played.
That's
Oh,
a whole
oh.
separate argument.
Yeah, cool. Fair,
But-
but
But
not what we're
because
talking about
this
today,
is
but
like people actually running.
Yeah.
yeah.
And that's why I find this more interesting, because this is not people saying, "Oh yeah, I really like Tormented
Oh, yeah,
20."
fair.
But because this is saying, yeah, it's the 18th most played. It's the 18th most played game on Foundry. Is this game that I've never heard of before?
Never heard.
Yeah. No idea what it is.
And currently pulling ahead of Cosmere, which then again is Cosmere a more like a game that wouldn't necessarily require a VTT like Foundry. Is it more story focused, and you'd be better off with something as simple as Miro? I just need a place to show you like images.
You know what? Barcode DM has a very good question in the chat. Like, these stats would be completely different if the codex didn't exist, because most people playing Draw Steel play it in the codex if they play like digitally, right?
Also,
Well,
Owlbear
yeah,
exists.
maybe,
And Owlbear has unbelievable support for Draw
But
Steel.
maybe because the people who, and I think Matt Colville's talked about this, but like if you use Foundry, then you're bought into that system.
Yeah.
Isn't it true? Not obviously not always true, but isn't it true that you're more likely to stay within that ecosystem, even if you're going to be introducing a new game? So it's a curious point. Yeah, what these would look, what these numbers would look like if the codex wasn't there for so many of us to play.
You know, more likely yes, but when
Yeah.
I got access to the codex, even though I used Foundry for like 5 years, I dropped it like it was hot, you know.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, to like since I've got the codex, I have not opened Foundry even once because I didn't need to. From the get-go, codex, even if in its alpha first version, I feel it was already better than Foundry in most ways, you know.
It depends on which
Is
system
that-
you're playing in Foundry. Because if you've played D&D, it's historically been a bit dicey.
No,
It's
no,
been,
right.
become a lot better in the past year because they've now got a licensing deal, and it's become more robust. But if you're coming from like Pathfinder 2, which
Yes.
is one of the like that's one of the systems that they always highlight as, oh, Pathfinder 2 on Foundry, that's excellent because everything's there. Because they have a very open license through Orc. The open.
It was Pathfinder, yes. So
Yeah.
there was a lot of support. There was a lot of additional like modules. You know, in Foundry, are you even using Foundry if you do not have like 20 or 50 installed mods? You know.
Well, that's an interesting. If you scroll down, it talks about like the modules that people have installed, or maybe it's there you go. There's the add-on modules.
Yeah, they highlight these 3 games that just exploded onto the.
Yeah.
I have to mention that though. Draw Steel plus 169, Cosmere plus 92, Tegra plus 290.
Wow.
Crazy.
as a change, but yeah.
Intriguing.
Yeah. Yeah, libwrapper. That's a dependency that most other things use.
Yeah.
And
The
socket lib.
exciting lib wrapper.
You know the modding goes
Dice So
deep
Nice,
when
yeah.
the
Dice
top
So
mod is
Nice,
a modder
I-
modder.
Yeah. I use
It's a mod
Dice So
mod.
Nice.
This one is going to drop like drop right off the table for next year because they just implemented this in Foundry proper.
Oh, yeah. I used Pop-Out.
Yep.
Yeah, I recognize a lot of these modules, you know. I recognize them.
Or as it's called in my group because it has an exclamation mark. Pop out!
Oh, yeah.
I'm sorry.
Do you guys find that like hot take, Frederica here.
Oh,
I don't like.
Who?
I don't
Fishing
really.
for clips, right?
Yeah, 100%. I'm just here to clip farm, guys. No. Do you guys like, do you guys find the experience of having these kind of more heavy VTTs, which are doing a lot of work for you? Do you do that because you struggle to do that? Do you struggle to manage the game without them, or is it that you find that fun? Like, what's the motive? Because I don't enjoy it.
Oh,
Well,
interesting.
we are old. We like it simple.
But it's so right. It's so much work to get them to work. Like
It can be a lot of
every
work.
time I've never really had a DM who's played them, so I've never learned it. But my experience is just like, oh, let me spend 20 minutes fighting it to do something when I could have just done it myself. Like,
I mean, with the level of automation the Codex has out of the box, it's so easy to run Draw Steel in the Codex, you know?
Yeah,
true.
if you're running using the monsters that comes in the codex.
Yeah.
If you have your own monster set blocks, it automatically becomes a lot more work.
Yeah.
Especially if you want them to work the way the official monsters do.
I would say it depends on your group too. Like if you're playing over the internet and you have a group, or you're playing virtually rather, and you have a group of people who are not necessarily tech savvy, then oh my god, it's so painful to teach them how to use a new platform, and sticking with a map and token system like Miro or Albert Rodeo. I think those folks are better suited. However, if you've got a group of folks that want to get crunchy and want to learn the details and level of automation, then so far, at least recently in my experience, something like the Codex can actually make playing the game easier. However, there is still right now a big learning curve to make that session from the director's side feel seamless. And I think he's still in chat, but Cameron, Rise Heroes Rise, does so much work, or I know he must do so much work behind the scenes, and in addition, I know we're about to talk about the Codex, like devs and stuff like that, but they work, so hand in hand too. Like we have in our game, we have Fawn, who I don't think he's officially
Contract developer.
contract, right? But so intimately familiar, and there is still a lot of work to be done, even in the midst of the session. However, it is so much fun. I'll use a quick example. It's not meant to be a plug for the Codex, but like we were playing a session, I'm playing a Censor, and Fawn is playing a Troubadour, gave a little bit of like speed bonus. And I wouldn't have known to do this, I think, unless we were playing in the Codex. So I knew I had a +2 bonus because of the Troubadour routine. I knew I could judge this target, allow me to teleport, and then I could like move my extra movement to get to where I needed to go. And that's the only way we were going to be able to stop this individual from fleeing and like getting to a teleportation circle. It was fucking rad. And in the Codex, it felt like an anime scene where like my Dragon Knight Censor was like flying over the ground. Yeah, I'm sure other people have had that experience without the VTT. But for me, I think it explicitly made that like that solution to the problem much more accessible. Yeah.
I will say, as someone who's always, when I started running D&D, I always ran on maps. I spent time. I have these gaming paper rolls of paper, which are they look like gray wrapping paper, but they have a bit of like clay in the paper to make it absorb markers better. I use those. I drew out dungeons, full like the whole dungeon in Lost Mines of Endelver. The Lost Mine, I've copied that onto gaming paper to put in front of my players. The whole damn thing, even doubled it up because it's 1 to 2, so you need to double everything. It was so much work. I spent so many hours making minis, making maps. Moving to digital was such a reduction in the amount of work. Yeah. And the few times that I prepped in Codex, it's so much faster than it is in Foundry. So it's always been like an upgrade for me, going from physical maps to the Foundry and then Codex.
I guess I had my start playing predominantly Theatre of the Mind. And then I went to Roll20, which is terrible. I don't like Roll20. And then when I moved to Albert, like I can't imagine prepping. For me personally, Albert is just this like perfect balance where it just gives me the all the tools I need and none of the like. I don't know, like for me, when I loaded up the codex, it's just there's so much information. I think it's almost a UI issue for me that when I've loaded up the codex, I'm just bombarded with so
Yeah.
much stuff going on.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I don't want to feel like I'm playing a video game when I'm playing a TTRPG. I want it to be an experience where most of the experience is us talking to each other, not us being like, oh, I move across the room. Let me move my mini across the room. Like, I don't want that most of the time.
Oh, that's so much fun to me. Having the tokens, having us physically located on a map, seeing where everyone is in the room without having to ask them, without having to intimately describe that, okay, I'm going to keep over here. Just having the map, having the tokens on it, seeing where everyone is without having to consult all the other players, without having the director needlessly explain in detail where everything is located, being able to show physically that, yes, I'm moving across the room and we're doing a thing over here. And the codex being able to do a lot of like the mechanical work for us means that we have more time, or at least I feel like we have more time doing the playing.
Play the game.
Well, I think it's a question of what is playing the game, because for me,
Well,
like the describing, I'm gonna go to the bar and ask the barkeep, and describing myself. I mean, like, I'm gonna walk across. My character walks across the bar, and tablecloth is gonna like walk up to the barkeep and be like, "Can I have a drink?" You know, like that is playing the game to me. And when
hold on
when
a
I
second.
have
Hold
when
on
I
a
have my
second.
players just like, you know,
Is your character's
like-
name Tablecloth?
yeah, he wanted after he this was in a Fall of Black Bottom game, after he fled the armies of Ajax after the fall of Calavar, I think it is. He wanted to pick a name that would make him fit in with humans, so he picked something that Kalian people said a lot. Didn't realize it wasn't a name.
That's a perfect name.
It is a reference to Hitchhiker's Guide.
That reminded me of my time raider who saw a jar of honey and thought it was made from people because people on Orden kept calling each other honey.
Honey.
So you just assume that this must be that extract from those humans.
That's yeah. Interesting points.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I feel this is some of the points also that a lot of time comes up when people discuss, especially the codex, which is so highly automated as it is, that for some people it's a turn off. Like this is too much. I'm not playing the game anymore. And to me, it's like, well, I'm playing even more of the game because this is doing all the bookkeeping.
Yeah, exactly. Same for me.
And that kind of nicely leads on to the Codex team have their own Discord server, and they've started doing something they call office hours, where one or more of the devs jump into a voice channel and just hang out, and people can come by and ask questions and ask for help with the Codex. So it's a really nice thing to do, but I also kind of think it's kind of unique, and I don't know, it feels very our community.
Yeah.
where the devs just kind of hang out and help people with the issues they might have.
Going above and beyond.
Yeah. It's pretty cool. And all of the devs are very cool people.
At least the ones I've met.
Wow.
Fan is amazing.
Yeah, we stand fan. We stand
yeah.
fan.
Fan is fantastic.
Fans.
Danny Various is great too, right?
Despite his name being a curse word in Swedish. And
Fan?
Norwegian too.
Okay.
Yeah,
Cool.
fan basically means fuck in as a curse word, not as in the
Damn.
action.
Nice.
Well, I have only positive like encounters with all of the DM hub people, so
Yeah, totally. Same. I'm only joking. Any devs who might seek me out after.
Too late.
yeah, they will find you.
All right.
And MCDM about to drop more news to silence you.
In case this gets edited into a video at some later point, this is the magical transition where the panel part of the show stops and the community highlight / commentary starts.
All right.
So we need to do the what's it from? Is it Bill and Ted? No. It's
Wayne's World.
Wayne's World. Thank you. Yes. That's a reference for us older gentlemen.
Don't worry, chat.
Okay, Grandpa.
I have. This is where the hot takes I had prepared start.
God.
Everything up until this point has been off the cuff.
I only have one hot take, I think, from the materials. Although, Frederick, I'm interested if you read any of my stuff and if you have hot takes.
Oh, I'm really sorry. Which is your stuff? I don't know off the top of my head.
Oh well, I'm not going to tell you. We'll find out.
Okay, cool.
Yeah,
Well,
you
sorry
gotta
if
guess.
sorry if it's the one I didn't like.
Oh man.
Yeah,
let's see.
See,
Oh,
but
boy.
Baloo SJ mentions in chat that Fan means the devil. It's a contraction in Norwegian too, from Fanden, which is a different word for the devil,
Oh, cool.
and in Danish. I don't remember how they curse in Danish. They always speak with a potato in their mouth.
All right.
Or the,
Shots
I-
fired.
Just like us British people.
I watched the video about the Danish language and how Europeans for like 1,000 years have talked about why do they talk so funny?
Why?
That's what
I've
Polish
heard,
people
like,
say about Czech people.
And now,
can't contribute to that.
Now we're actually getting into the hot takes.
Yeah.
So the Blacksmiths Guild.
Woo! They're gonna be so glad that their product is now forever associated with ethnic drama.
Oh, God.
Kuźniakowali? Oh no.
They've been publishing issues for a year now. They've
Been a
published
year.
6 issues. They publish every other month on the 1st. And this was a crowdfunding campaign to basically fund their adventure path called the Glass Spark, which is a second echelon timescape faring adventure path.
That's right.
That's going to release a new part or chapter every for the next 6 for the next 6 issues. Wow.
That's a lot. It's a mouthful.
Yeah.
So yeah, have any of you been looking at Blacksmith's Guild at all, or did any of you back? I did back. I even I didn't get to show this off. I even had my own special tier.
Yes,
for
you
this one.
did. Unfortunately,
You got
Shuv
the
isn't
John
as-
tier?
Shuv had to leave, so he's not in the chat anymore. But he laments your generosity. I said lament is not really the right word, but he's like, John, fine. I'm just going to give you your own pledge level, and that'll get you to, yeah, good.
Just threw me so far off seeing the price in the Norwegian currency. I was like, how much was it? I don't remember it being that much.
This is in Swiss francs because
No, but you're seeing, but it's telling you about
yeah, it's-
160
Oh.
Norwegian.
Yeah.
Yeah. No.
In
Currency.
Norway, coronas, right? You've got coronas or
Yeah.
something like this. Yeah.
You
in
have beers over
Norwegian
there?
krona, yeah.
You pay in beers, Corona?
Yeah, exactly this.
That's a terrible joke. I'm so sorry.
Yeah, I obviously have been following the Blacksmiths Guild a lot. Contributed to the first 3 issues,
Okay.
and probably will contribute in future ones as well. But I think it's really been the inevitable. This was the inevitable, or one of the inevitable conclusions of Blacksmiths Guild, because Shuv is, in my opinion, such an incredible project manager. That it was a natural growth point to have it be to crowdfund, and now finally has launched Patreon as well. Tabletop Nonsense Verse has launched a Patreon to support the funding of the Blacksmiths Guild too. So
yeah, I remember speaking with Shuv. This wasn't for an interview, I think, but we were talking about the Blacksmiths Guild and how he wanted it to be a way for people to get published for the first time. So I really want to encourage people, if you have something you want, it might only be like a couple of pages even, but if you have something that you're working on that you think is pretty cool, get in touch with Shuv and the Blacksmiths Guild. They have contact details in every issue, on the back of every issue, and see if you can get published. It's nice to say that you're published in something that even goes to physical print. If you want to, you can get physical prints of this. And yeah, it's a great. They're very open to having fresh contributors come in and publish something.
Can confirm the very article you're looking at right now. That's Rogue. I'm pretty sure that was one of Rogue Sigan's first thing. The one above that, one of Rogue Sigan's first ones to get
Oh, cool.
publishing, because I know them.
I gotta tell you, like literally last week, I got via mail the Ratcatcher magazine physical edition, my contributor copy, and my father opened it, and he was so surprised to see me published in the printed stuff. Like, Mateusz, I can see your name there, but what is this Ananam? What is it?
I've actually ended up with two issues of the
Heyo.
first because I backed the second one too.
Is this a running thing, John, that you always get 2 issues of everything you buy?
No, John has a problem. We don't have time to get into
Is this an John? This is an intervention.
Yeah, John, we
John,
love
we
you
gotta
so
talk.
much.
I
We care
know-
about
Stop
you.
it.
I now
Get
use a
some
different
help.
browser.
That is an OG reference. I'm sorry.
I use a
Wait,
different
wait.
browser.
2016 called.
Guys, wait, it's gonna be very useful when Triglove does physical stuff.
Oh yeah. Wow.
Good AI pledge. No AI bullshit. And you can get these fulfilled through drive-through RPG.
Yeah. Print on demand through drive-through RPG.
Yeah. I'm really interested in
I have
RPG
sorry.
Trader, which also just launched.
Oh yeah, just launched.
And they also have like print on demand. You can make print products. That's going to be really interesting for those that keep track of those kind of things. Well, Frederica, what were you going to say?
I was going to add nothing of value to the conversation. I was just going to say, like the kind of magazine format isn't my cup of tea, but every time I see one, I'm just there like double thumbs up. Like this is very obviously very good content, and I'm very happy that it has a place in the community. And good stuff.
Well, we needed something to kind of embody the spirit of Arcadia, right?
Yeah, 100%.
And Hannah Rose's Horizons, I think, seemed like it was going to embody that spirit, but it's I'm not really keeping up to date.
It's on hiatus
exactly.
at the moment.
That's what I understand to be true.
Yep.
Yeah, that because it and obviously it was so much work for MCDM to have a monthly magazine, so to speak, but. Yeah, it needs a lot of attention and production, and it's a huge lift. I know from Shuv, but I know he's got some other contributors now that are supporting the magazine. So, and I will say too, this is really important. It's a prozine, so that means that if you write and contribute an article,
Yes.
you get paid pretty much every month for the sales of that magazine.
Yeah.
All the revenue goes back to the writers. Once like all the other costs have been covered, in terms of layout and art and everything like that.
I think some of that is changing for this year, isn't it? Yeah, I don't know.
I'm not sure about
Shuv's
future.
got it locked down.
Yeah.
Next up, we've got Weapons of Lore, which also funded
Damn,
way
5K?
above our goal.
Yeah.
Yeah. This is a collection of 40
A lot.
80.
80
level
plus.
treasures. Yes,
80
yes.
plus, John.
Yes, but I think 40 of them are weapons and the other are like trinkets and whatnots. And for the weapons, at least, every single one has a piece of art.
Yes.
They don't say specifically for the trinkets and the other stuff, so I don't know if every one of the other ones have. All 80 have art, but at least the 40 that are weapons do have art.
I really hope it does, because one of my biggest complaints with the Draw Steel rulebooks is like, oh, you've got this cool magical item, no art for you, none, no art. Like really, that's a huge pro to this one.
But
for
the
me.
Torque got a piece of art, which I found interesting because
That
you
made
can
me
just
happy.
Google an orc.
The Thief of Joy is so lovely.
But yeah, I have the Weapons of Legend, which is the one that they released last year, which has all the art. It has like cards for every item, where it has the art of the item on the one side, and then you can flip the card, and there's like the
cool.
stats on the back. Really cool. This is, I don't know if this is necessarily a good or bad thing. This is a port or like a conversion of a D&D product that they crowdfunded in November, I think. So this is that original thing with Pesto's conversion. Because Jeff Stevens Games have collaborated with Pesto for converting this whole thing, which is also why the kobolds show up here somewhere, don't they? Yeah, here we go.
That explains the layout. It has a very D&D layout.
That's
Oh, here
true.
are the cards. Yeah.
Well, I like the cards. Like physical stuff is very useful
Yeah.
at the table, right? But I don't play at the table.
But you don't play at the table. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So that's
But
useless.
it was useful in the past.
Hey, it's got the Foundry VTT example for you. So
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
There you go. Here's Weapons of Legend. Yeah. So yeah, I was really impressed with the visual presentation of Weapons of Legend. So I'm really looking forward to getting this too. There is a preview here. I didn't prepare it, so I'm not going to click into it.
Oh, the night.
The Knight,
Big
also
Neat.
funded.
Yeah, very
Almost
cool
twice
ideas
as gold.
inside. Yeah, very cool
I love-
ideas inside.
I love it. I love it so much. It's so cool. I want to play a
Yeah.
knight very
I
badly.
love most of it.
Oh, interesting.
Tell us all
Should I
about what you
expand?
don't
I'll
like.
Bring the hot takes. This is the
right.
episode
Yeah,
of hot
hot
takes.
takes.
I don't
Clippable
think it's
takes.
really a hot take. And what's the
You're
name
not doing it
of
right.
the,
For the short, it has to be a hot take. You have to start
Right.
off with my hot take is for the shorts. For the shorts, you know.
Okay, so the knight being designed by Jacob Consens. I apologize if I'm mispronouncing your name. Let me preface this critique with saying that I really love so much of the design. I love the names of the subclasses. I love the different stances you can adopt. I love the heraldry integration that like you can choose these different symbols. It's so chivalric. I love so much of the Arthurian literature. I've read a lot of it. So this like speaks to my soul. My biggest critique and something that I think is not good or could be better is the name of the heroic resource that the knight earns.
Agreed.
I
Yeah.
think,
Yeah, yeah.
and obviously this is not my product, right? So like if you are watching this, oh creator of the knight, you can disregard this because I don't matter to you. Or I shouldn't, right? But I do believe that there's probably a better name for the heroic resource that the knight earns.
I don't
Honing,
know.
honing is cool, but when I think of like to hone is like to sharpen a blade, and I don't know. I suppose that like makes sense if you're a knight. Like as the battle goes on, the blade of your like self becomes like sharper.
Honing a skill is what.
Should-
Yeah, that too.
shouldn't
Right,
it-
your skill becomes
Shouldn't
more
it
precise.
just be focus?
I don't
Like this
know.
feels like a focus
Now,
moment to me.
that is a great
Yes,
point,
yes.
Frederica. That right, and we heard this recently in a stream that like, hey, you know, whatever, it can be the same heroic resource. Focus would be a very appropriate one. But I also get the idea that like, if I'm creating a class, I want to come up with my own unique heroic
Yeah.
resource. So first of all, mad props to the designer for coming up with their own
J-Cons,
class
yeah.
and crowdfunding it and being successful. That's amazing. That's a huge feat. I have
I
not
might-
done
But
a
if you
class.
but if you don't take Paul's advice, he will badmouth you forever. It's just how it works on the show.
Yeah. Now, someone wrote in chat 2 different ideas. I'm not going to pitch any ideas because that's not my job, right? Like we've been hopefully trained as good stewards of feedback in the MCDM community that like when we have like we give our critique, but we don't offer suggestions on what it should be. So I will leave it there that like I really love everything about this class. Love all the features, the lineage features. Yeah, it's so good. But I think there's something better.
Yeah.
So,
I
anyway.
might be hallucinating this, but the heroic resource used to be called honor in the past.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah, I don't know why it got changed. If it got changed, I think it began it started as honor or
honor?
honor. In Polish, we pronounce all the H's. It started as honor.
What are H's?
Yeah, uh, but yeah, no idea why it changed. Maybe because it didn't feel like the fantasy. If you are doing like non-honorous things and using honor to do it,
that's
right?
interesting, right? Because one of the subclasses is
It's just
knave. Or
knave,
something
yeah.
like that, right?
When you are a knave, you are probably not very honorable, right?
No.
Yeah, so maybe there was like thematic disconnect,
Right.
Maybe that was the reason, if indeed I am not hallucinating this.
Intriguing.
Yeah, but the class is very
Curious.
cool. The class is very cool.
What did I...
Like, when I saw crowdfunding a knight class, I was like, but tactician already exists. Why is this being crowdfunded? But then
I had this.
I looked inside, and the implementation of the knight, the name is misleading because like knight is such a simple thing, but the implementation makes it so interesting.
I mean, if you
Agreed,
think
agreed.
about or rather, when I think about a knight compared to a tactician, like I imagine a knight could be a tactician, right? Like I've sworn fealty
Yeah.
to my liege lord, and I, live by a chivalric code, but I'm a mastermind battlefield commander. I am a tactician. But if what my character is about is the fact that like I live according to this code, or I've abandoned that code, then it's like, yeah, cool. Now I'm living. I am a knight, truly. Yeah, and
Yeah.
and it's all about like my heraldry and like my house or so on.
Yep.
Yeah. And this
There
is
is a
obviously
title,
only a
right?
preview. I assume that there's still work to do.
Is there a knight title in the core rules?
Yes, yeah, there is, yep.
Second echelon knight title, right? Yeah.
But there's also a vampire complication that's not stopped people in this call before.
I'm not saying this should stop people from creating a knight class, right?
That's right.
Oh,
Then
this
there's
one looks
this.
cool.
Whoa.
Whoa.
Almost 3 times the goal now. Holy crap.
Yeah, crazy stuff.
So yeah, this looks...
Creators must be happy.
Yeah. This is probably fine. I don't know. Moving on.
That's it. That's all you get.
Now I'm
Yeah.
baited.
We have to mention it. It's so far the biggest supplement crowdfunder yet. Specifically, not including Night Shift Devil Division, which I think is in a class of itself, partly because it's its own game, and this is a supplement for a different game. But yeah, you're doing really well, Alanam. This looks... I'm really looking forward to this. You've shown before you can do really good art, and I think this is not an exception. And of course, I love the timescape stuff.
Who
I'm a
doesn't?
sucker for space fantasy.
I have a question that I never kind of got to ask you in the process of me making the videos, kind of related to this.
Yeah.
But what made you make the decision to put kind of 4 quite different products all in one thing? Because they are not natural fits together. As someone who had to write ad scripts for this, it's very hard to write an ad script and be like, there's this cool thing. Oh, and there's also this cool thing that is not like there's no through line here.
Yeah. I've talked about it in the interview with Aestus, but I'm gonna, of course, tell you now also. There were many reasons. Like, it started as, let's prepare for a big thing crowdfunder, but in the meantime, we've got the workforce to do some smaller stuff. And let's make it like a mini projects, These are no longer mini, right? So these are like fully fledged products now, but they started as like ideas for some smaller stuff. I wanted to populate Triglav Games' online store with stuff so that Vampire is not the only product in the store. And I decided, let's do some small stuff. It's gonna probably be quick to do. If they were small, but they are not small anymore. And also, I was like, it would be very useful to basically use this as a testing ground to see what people want to see in the future. So we've got some dark fantasy stuff, we've got some timescape stuff, we've got some additional mechanics. Like, Rock's Fall is mainly a director-centered product, right? Other things can be used for players too. So this is our pretty expensive way of doing market research in a way, but also bringing all of these cool ideas we had to fruition, because as a team, as Striglove Games, we do have a lot of many different ideas for products, more than we can make in a lifetime. And also, like, Draw Steel is very young as a system, so there is a lot of space to be making like adventures right now. So 4 out of these 5 products have an adventure. Until the Last Villain Dines is a one big adventure. The other products have like a small quest inside of them. Literally today, I was reading through Dima's quest. It's called Where the Dead Ships Dwell, and it's part of the Upper Worlds Beware, and it's gonna be crazy cool. I don't want to spoil anything, but what the team is bringing on with these products is just super cool, very inspiring, and I think people will have a lot of fun using these products. I'm very glad we are able to make them, and to make them like really stand out with the support we've received from the community. So thank you all who back this crowdfunder. This money will be well spent on amazing art and other stuff. We've unlocked the stretch goal of deluxe codex implementation. So until the Last Villain Dines, we'll have like animated tokens, animated maps, and also music composed like for these very adventures. So it's gonna be so amazing.
This is one of my favorite pieces of art that you've produced.
Yeah,
The Spore Bearer Vampire, so cool.
I like it too.
Then we got some crowdfunder using fake dollars, Monopoly money.
Lol.
But they've also reached their goal and almost not entirely getting to their to twice their goal, but yeah, Mythic Treasures by it says here Steel Echoes, but that is I don't know if that's the name that they use together, but it's by Aestus and Surfing Bird from the community.
Yep.
And these are, I love this layout. I'm a sucker for colors. So
Understandable.
So this is treasures. They're kind of like level treasures, but they're more powerful. They're almost
so much more.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
much more. They balance them as 2-level treasures they mention in the text, and they've got 20 mythic treasures, which are these special ones that are, they call them as powerful as a second subclass. But then they've also got Jenny Redacted working on trinkets. So there's like 100 trinkets also included. So this is an amazing supplement if you want just more magic items in Draw Steel. Like, this is insane.
Yeah. They definitely
I-
beat Jeff Steven games.
I found this one. I see the space for it, but I find it kind of slightly surprising because I don't know. It feels like it's trying to. Don't artifacts already exist? Like, this feels like it's, to me, this doesn't. I've seen a lot of discussion about like people not loving the level treasure system. Like, to me, this feels like it's an artifact. Like, that's what this is in the same space as to me.
Is this the one you don't like, Frederica?
Yeah.
No, this is not.
Uh-oh. Okay, we only have more creators after this. There's a good chance I'm one of them.
Uh-oh. Yeah, I'm gonna say this. The artifacts are designed to be unbalanced. They are supposed to be like temporarily very powerful, right? But only temporarily. While mythic treasures are supposed to be like your constant companion. Like Thor would always be with his hammer Mjolnir, right? So this is this kind of design. Like artifacts you get for a brief time and you rock with them. Whereas this is a Mjolnir or whatever for Thor, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I understand.
I do really like them. I think it's interesting, and I would suppose that a director who's going to award, if they award Soul Eater to one of their players, that they should know. And it's kind of small on the screen right now. Thank you for zooming in, John. Yeah, so you can kind of see that there are these beats that the hero rather, needs to hit in order to like unlock the higher levels, which I think is fascinating. I love this
That's
design.
so
and
cool.
It's really wonderful.
Yeah.
And I watched Astis's video recently on why, on his words, why he said he like basically made these because of his own dissatisfaction, I suppose you could say, with level treasures. But I would say if you're going to award this to a player, know what you're getting into as a director, because if you don't help that hero fulfill these beats, then it's going to kind of not really it's not going to live up to the potential that it could, right?
This is just
Not
convinced me. Give me 1 second while I back it.
Right.
We did a good job.
I think that is it's like, as a director, I would love to award this because it's like wonderful. Not that my players need this necessarily, although some might, but it's like a wonderful incentive, or like carrot that you're like dangling in front of the player to be like, hey, check this out. Look at this cool shit you can do. But I guess I would just be curious to see how different directors instantiate this. Like, how much are they going to reveal? And I don't think there's any wrong or right way to do it, but, would you, as a director, give all of that information up front potentially? Like, hey, your weapon has this incredible potential, but it's going to require you to be curious and discover, what lies within.
What's not shown in this, which I've done an interview with Astis and Surfing Bird that's coming out in 5 days, where they talk about this, and what's not shown here, it's probably mentioned in the text somewhere, is that it's shown here as the director only, because the player doesn't see these beats. These are here for the director to use when the player or the hero reaches certain beats in their story.
Wait, say that one more time.
What? I'm saying that there are in the final product there will be a distinction between the part that the players see and the director see for the story beats.
Okay.
So there are like more details for the director on how to work the story beats into the ongoing campaign that you're doing.
Excellent.
But the player will have some indication of like, these are the things that's going to, like, here are like your future story beats where your story is going, but the director will have more guidance on how to actually implement those.
The sword beeps whenever you reap someone's soul. How many beeps do I need? I need a lot of beeps. Give me more beeps.
Yeah, these look really interesting. And also, I'm just a sucker for more treasures.
Frederica, did you really bug? Because
nicely done,
just
Frederica.
No, I literally did just press the back button. I am not trolling when I said give me a second to back the product. I actually did just back the product. That's
Good
not
job.
me writing that out. I genuinely did just do that.
Sick.
Breaking news.
Also, if you're the creator of this, I have an idea for a video. I'm going to DM you about it.
Oh shit.
Just to make it interesting, this is Reinforcement Goblins by, now he's calling himself Spencer Hypnic. This is
Who's
Pestilence
that?
Enthusiast.
Yes.
Pesto, the best of
Three
Pesto.
kobolds in a trench coat.
Uh-oh.
I love this so much.
Okay, then we know which ones you don't
This
like.
is another one I'm
It's gonna be
so
fine.
excited for.
Oh my god.
Is
Paul,
you're
I
like,
have
wait,
some
you
bad
fucking
news
wrote the
for you.
ancestry.
Got some bad news for me.
Very bad news.
This is really the hot take episode. Jesus Christ.
Me and Paul just going at it the whole session.
Let's go.
I like you as a person. We just don't seem to agree on much.
I am not antagonizing anyone. I'm just a frog.
Rabbit.
So, Reinforcement Goblins, these are second echelon goblins for draw steel if you want goblins to go further than just first echelon. And Frederica is here for it.
This is like the number, like, I don't know how to explain it, but like the thing I just want as a director, every time I see products, I'm just like, more monsters, please. Give me monsters. I just want more. And I just saw these and I was like, yes, this is exactly what I wanted. Like, particularly with the lack of monsters past Echelon 1. Like, the monster book is so weighted towards Echelon 1 monsters, it's just exciting to see stuff for higher echelons.
True.
Yeah, that's
so many
actually true.
goblins.
Oh yeah.
You
And
can never have
I
enough
wonder,
goblins.
is this like a goblin book? Yeah, it is. So I love the contents. My only gripe with this stuff is the format. I wish it was just like, I'm gonna say, in a standard format, like 2 columns of text, bigger pages. This is a me thing. The contents are amazing. I like the one of the
diesel-
goblins hit you in the nose, and if you can have a nosebleed, it's amazing.
Matt, I think my understanding is that this is like just the he's getting. I think if
This
I
is
remember
the
correctly from what I
preview,
read,
yeah.
it's the
Yeah, I
previews,
understand.
and then they're going to release a full product. So it's just like, and I wouldn't be surprised. That kind of looks like it might be Obsidian, the Obsidian, like draw steel backend.
maybe.
I reckon.
Well, this
But I,
is
Big
I
guess,
think
big
the
guess.
the
this is
Cobalt
Pesto's
product,
layout style.
yeah, like the Cobalt
All of his
Ancestry
other
product,
products have this
yeah,
same
look
layout
like
style.
this too.
Yeah.
Oh,
So
that's
this
disappointing.
is why I am not sure. Yeah, because the Cobalt Ancestry product looks exactly like this in this format.
Yeah,
And the
if you've
content's,
ever
again, great,
read any
but-
of Pesto's previous works, like his oozes or the storch or it's like the file storch. It's like the stork. Oh my god, what's the bird that delivers baby? Is that a stork?
Stork,
Yeah,
yeah,
stork.
Yeah.
Stork,
Okay.
yeah.
Cool. Yeah. So there's this
National bird
myth.
of Poland.
There's this myth of a stork that gets like hit with a spear and then like flies around. Anyway, he wrote an adventure about that, and it's the same layout. Is my point really,
Oh,
and it's
okay.
also a cool adventure. You should check it out.
Yeah.
So
Did you-
this is
did you know
supposed to be the first part of a ongoing series of reinforcements where he takes monsters from first echelon, upgrades them to higher echelons. I don't think it's only supposed to be second echelon, and at some point they're all gonna get put together in like one big product. And if you buy these installments, the idea is that you'll get like a credit on the final product. Details still to be figured out according to the
Yeah.
text. So no promises on how that will work out in the end.
The second band to be made is humans, actually.
Yeah.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. Bring on more humans.
We need more human villains.
Yeah.
Humans are the best villains because it's easy to hate them.
Oh yeah.
Wow, that is
It's not racist to hate other humans. It's all
no, yeah.
Because
It's not racist, but it is speciesist.
Why
Or is
would
it
you
speciesist to hate your own species?
kind of
reverse
very
reversionist.
human.
Speciesism? Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
if there's one human trait, it is the ability to hate your own species.
Yes.
yeah.
And we turned we turned from hot takes
nervous.
to deep
I'm
takes.
scared.
Okay, I'm gonna go now. It's been a lovely
Wait, hold on.
time.
So,
Frederica,
so let's be
Unleash
clear. Let's be
the-
clear.
rage.
John and a previous Goblin panel looked at Reliquaries of Orvab the Handless.
Yeah.
I asked John to include it because it's kind of a companion product to the Stewards of the Sleeping Lands. And also just to set the record straight that these are reliquaries of a deceased archfey who you can summon if you have a sufficient number, but that is not what the Cave of Amber Tears is about. Because you were talking
Okay.
about that last time.
You are all chill because what I've seen in the material for this is the ancestry, not these other things.
Well, we're
Oh, the
going to get to
ancestry
the
is
ancestry in a second.
No, we get to the ancestry. I hadn't seen this part of it yet, so I don't have opinions about this part.
Ah,
But you're forming opinions just now.
Your
and
opinions
you're
are
Oh, I
forming
have
as we
opinions
speak.
about the ancestries, yes. But I've read. We know I've read a lot of ancestries. I have a lot of opinions.
Oh yeah, you
don't
did the
care about your
video
opinions.
about every single ancestry from the gem, right?
yeah.
I am the official Revenant hater.
Yeah. Okay. I see.
So
Well, good
for-
thing
for-
I did not
for-
start in the jam. Well, I was the sponsor also, so
the reliquaries of Orvab the Handless.
Yes.
Different format on the stall supplement index. You always mess up with the lines where your products show up because they're very narrow and tall. So they mess up the ratio, the aspect ratio for the other products on the
Good.
same line when in the list.
It's because
very
we do
different
trade.
layout.
I work with, I do trade format with my layout artist. So
Okay, yeah. So these almost don't they don't look like they're for draw steel almost because of how
That's kind of the point.
yeah, I figured, but it's interesting.
Yeah, I wanted them to be weird. Also, the artist is the same for both of these. If anybody's familiar with Cloud Empress, you might recognize the artist. Their name is Pabetta. I might be pronouncing that wrong, but it's Pbbeta. And as soon as I saw their, I mean, it's for me, it's just like a dream to be able to work with them. They're very Nausicaa-esque, if you're familiar with Nausicaa and the Valley of the Wind by Studio Ghibli, Hayao Miyazaki, both the manga and the film. Yeah, hey, there's our good buddy Orvab. He's dead now.
Yeah,
He's a fae?
He's all
He-
like
yes,
mono
he's-
hands.
He's a fae, but like a bad, a dark fae.
Yeah.
And the only reason why these two products are connected is because the Sleeping Lands is where, it's like fiction stuff. Orvab ruled over the Sleeping Lands, this wandering manifold. And now the only thing that's left there is his empty castle, and beneath the surface of the dead sands, these little Argillum buddies.
Which are the next and last item on the list.
Okay,
Spirits of the-
before I say anything.
Before Frederica says anything,
Oh, okay, all right.
I just want to say that this product looks so beautiful and so uniquely, right? Both this cover and the previous cover, I
Agreed.
gotta say, I'm in love because it's such a unique style. It's something completely alien to the draw steel and mostly even like heroic fantasy, It looks surreal, but it makes so much sense for this product. So you have my highest appreciation
thank
for
you.
how these products look like.
Well, I wanted
These are
it to look.
this is some of the best art
dreamlike.
I've seen in any products.
Thank you. Yeah, I wanted it to look dreamlike and nightmare-ish, like nightmarish in the
Success.
previous one and dreamlike in this one, because these creatures, they eat your dreams. All right, Frederica. let it rip.
Unleash the demon.
So,
Should I
Okay,
prepare
so
popcorn?
in my tier rating system, right? My tiers go from F tier to S tier, right? With S like, and let me put it this way: from the dram, the what's it called? The one that's the gas cloud in a suit.
Azomath.
Azimuth, that
Shout
is
out to
C
Dima,
tier.
who's in
That's
chat. What's up,
that's
Dima?
that's C tier in my system, right?
Okay.
Because the thing that's important to me, and this comes from the fact that I read 125 ancestries, and when you read 125 ancestries, you start to notice patterns. And one of the things I really, really value in an ancestry is an ancestry which is a good. I don't like. I appreciate art. I appreciate literature, but like that doesn't make it a good ancestry. What I want to see is the story that you're telling me with the art and the literature and all this stuff. I want to see that represented mechanically, because I can say I am anything, but I want to do things that show me that I am that thing. And this is the harder thing, this is what gets you into the A and S tier, is I want to see mechanics which are unique. Because I think it's easy to get into this mindset of, oh, all the MCDM things are reskinned because, the dragons have like wings and stuff. But no, every of the MCDM ancestries has very unique traits which are unique to them and like are mechanically their own thing that tell you about that ancestry. And so what I felt reading this when I read it, I was like, it doesn't have what I describe as a killer trait. It doesn't have a trait where I say, oh wow, I can see that I will use that all the time. So like a really good example of this from the jam is there were a bunch of really amazing ancestries that were based on the idea that you are a parasite. And one of them had really cool mechanics for, if your host dies, you become this stat block and blah de blah, and this happens and there's all these rules for it. And I was like, that's cool. When that happens, I am going to feel like I'm a parasite. I don't know from looking at the mechanics of this, what is an Argillum? Like, what are they? Like I know that there's some great story and there's amazing art, but from the mechanics, what are they? What's unique about
Fair enough. Maybe you'll just have to play one and find out, and then I will take your critique seriously.
Oh no, the deflection.
That is, yeah, and I appreciate what you're saying. I also am. Well, let's put into context. What is an S tier aside from the parasite? What would be an S tier ancestry for you?
Well, in the meantime, I gotta defend Azamaths because Azamaths will be featured in our time space product.
Yes, also,
and they
thank
got
you for-
revised.
Famously, people
Thank you
really
to Matt
like
for
them, so
sponsoring me. I love the Azimuth. The
you're like,
No,
Azamats are bad. Anyway, hey. anime. No, but seriously, what rests in the S tier for you? What would be?
So did you see? If I say that one, I'll sound biased because I know the guy who wrote it. I'm trying to think what I put in S tier. I remember there being the one that didn't make it into S tier but made it into A tier for me was. Did you see the one? The guy who made an ancestry where two players play the same body. That's an A tier one for me because that one's unbelievably cool. I can't wait for the
I forget because I know they
revisit
renamed it at some point.
Yeah.
But I know which one you're talking about. Yeah.
S tier for me is something like the Time Raiders. Like the Time Raiders have a lot of abilities where like every time you use the fact that you have multiple arms or the way that you have you can change your eyes, you can see through walls and stuff. That's an S tier ancestry for me. I think I put the Devils in S tier as well because I think a lot of their abilities, like stuff like the Prehensile Tail, there are a lot of ancestries that use an ability similar to Prehensile Tail, but assuming that we could assume that based on the fact that I read them in order, which is a big jump, a big statement, but like that would be something S tier for me. You did avoid one of my big pet peeves though, which is the like previous life ancestry trait. I'm not a fan of the previous life ancestry trait.
Well, it makes sense for some ancestries. Like for revenants, definitely makes sense because you can be an undead of any ancestry, right? For for vampires, it makes sense, you know. But I'm not gonna say anything. And
my pet peeve. My pet peeve with it is that it means that all ancestry traits have to be equal, and then that takes out a lot of freedom of the developer to do interesting things with their own ancestry. No, what I'd love to see with this ancestry, what I would love to see, this is my big constructive point, and I've said it with a lot of ancestries before, is I would love to see what is the like if you were to create, I'd love to hear from you what you do with this. If you were to create a signature trait that is more than an edge on tests, if you were to create a signature trait to like sum up what this ancestry is and what they are, because you've mentioned a lot here about like the dreams and all of this stuff, like what does that look like? What does that trait look like? What could I do in the game as that
That's
thing?
a very good question, and I wonder if I was like too scared to introduce something as an alternative that might like throw directors off, but one of the original signature traits was that at the end of a respite, like you could, like through dreams, like learn something about an NPC, and like learn something about an upcoming negotiation. So I always thought like maybe we slot this in as like an alternative.
I remember this version.
And I
one
and
of
I
the
threw it in.
people who said you should not put that.
Yeah, well, I thought about it. And I took the critique seriously because I was just thinking about certain directors. Like, this is such a pain. It's going to be a pain in the ass for certain directors to be like, all right, every time
that was exactly my feedback. I remember.
Okay, but guys, this isn't D&D. Like, we want cool stuff. Like the directors get just as excited as players, and also like you're underestimating, I think, directors' abilities to say to their player, "Hey, I appreciate that you've picked this trait, which could be a bit weird. There might be times where we have to do this," or it's also your job to, just like the summoner has the how to challenge the players with this, write that section for it. It's like the same way I had a very similar. I don't want to spoil. I had a very similar conversation with Jenny about an upcoming ancestry she's working on, where she had an incredibly cool complication, and I was like, this should be the signature trait of this ancestry. Because why, like, I hate to say it, but like,
Continue.
this, like, why have an ancestry that could just be a reskin of another ancestry? Because fundamentally, you could get here by just reskinning another ancestry. So put the cool stuff in that you'd want in the cool things you think are cool and you want at your table, just like we would with monsters. And then if a director says, and a player go, oh, we can't figure out how we'd use this, that's okay, because there's already the base game ancestries.
Now I genuinely wonder if you liked Prismians.
Which ones? Oh,
From the Typescape.
Yeah. From the preview, you
there's a reason I think that I felt like they had a couple of the like abilities they had were very, very interesting, but there was a reason I didn't give them S tier. You couldn't have paid me to say that. I think they were borderline A and B. They were A because it was I think I was a little kinder to them because I was like, obviously I'm not going to sit there in an advert and be like, I don't like this. That's not what you're paying me to do, right? And it wasn't that I disliked it. I think those like ancestry stuff like this one are like very comfortably, they're a perfectly good ancestry. If this is what you want, and you want somebody else to have done that kind of reskinning and homebrew, then that's really good. I just, having read 125 ancestries, which is more ancestries than anyone should ever read in a week, right? Don't do it to yourself. I am now at a point in my life where I'm like, I want the particularly extreme end. Like, I want something really, really exciting.
This is your S tier, by the way, from the video. Screenshotted live.
Yes.
Hey, okay, all right. I like you again because Oaklings are in S tier.
Oaklings are amazing. Oaklings were one of my favorite ancestries from the thing. The little guy, love the little guy. Stand the little guy.
You know what?
Also, I just want to mention Azmath's B tier, not C tier.
Oh, they would B. My bad. Yeah. Yes, because B tier was this is just really good. That I have no complaints, but I have nothing to explain why this is cool.
Okay.
Let me like drop the facade of like humor for a second. I really do appreciate your feedback though, and your insight, because right, like and this is probably the part, like the learning that we're all going through, or maybe more even appropriately to say the unlearning.
Yes.
From the other game that many of us have played.
Fantasy.
Yes.
Yeah. Tunnels and Trolls.
To like take those risks with design.
Yes.
And be willing, I suppose. I'm kind of arriving at this conclusion right now, but like be willing to, I don't know, for lack of a better term, like alienate people with your design, to be like, hey, you know, like this is weird, but it's how I envision the instantiation of this ancestry via the rules of Draw Steel. Yeah, and I know when I designed Oaklings, I was like thinking of tiny little creatures that can like go inside their like oak cap. And I designed Argillum, NNM contributed to some of the design, and then Tamwin as well. And it was ultimately me who decided to make it more broadly accessible and maybe smush some of those more risky and potentially alienating design choices. But I still love it.
I think
all the blame.
Yeah,
I think this
actually was
this
NNM's choice.
The biggest weakness with this ancestry to me, and it's like I talked a lot about in the video, is that it comes very close to what I was badly describing as a vibes-based ancestry, which is an ancestry which doesn't ever tell you what the ancestry is. Like, there was one, I think it's the Harmony. Was it the Harmony? The Harmony did really, really well in the overall thing. And I was just there like, this ancestry at no point explains what a Harmony is. Like, why is a Harmony? And then it gives you no ancestry traits to explain what a Harmony is, and it lets you put that onto it. And I'm like, I appreciate that you want to give me the space to be whatever I want to be, but Draw Steel already gives me that space. I'm already capable of being whoever I want to be all the time. And so I want to hear your really cool stuff, creators. Like, when you're making Draw Steel products, I want to see the really, really cool stuff you have to add, because that is so much better than I can always take your cool thing and take the bits I don't like out of it and still have your cool stuff underneath, than I can add in the cool stuff that you're not telling the world, you know?
So be it.
Yeah. Amen.
I think that's a good place to end it. Also, respect for this because it clearly no, that's not the right way to put it. It shows you that you're not only looking at artwork, because some of these don't even have art. It's just text.
There was my big takeaway from this is, I think if I was to give a critique of the overall jam, I think you guys weighted art and layout way too highly. Like, there were my biggest critique, and I want to say this now because they actually removed their ancestry, and I think it's really sad, is that there was somebody who uploaded an ancestry where now the layout was very obviously done in Word, but they had included a hand-drawn artwork of their character. Like it was a hand-drawn scanned-in piece of artwork of their character, of their ancestry, and it was rated as the worst art in the thing. And I think it was deeply wrong that you guys rated someone who had hand-drawn something below people who had used stock imagery, who didn't have art at all. Like, it really made me angry. And the fact that that person went and, once they found out I was making the video, deleted that ancestry, shows that you guys kind of pushed them away from the community. And I think it was a real moment for me. I was like, no, we need to understand that art is important, but art isn't everything. Design is what's really important at the table a lot of the time. You're not pulling out the artwork every session.
Yeah.
See what you've done, John?
Well, let's be generous. We don't know why necessarily that individual deleted their ancestry, right?
Sure, but I don't disagree with Frederica either. And it shows. I mean, it was our second outing, so we should at least have taken some learnings from the first one, and we need to do better for the next one.
Every day
we have to restructure a lot of things for the next one because to be quite frank, the second Gems of the Timescape kind of ended up exploding in a way we did not anticipate. It was
Yes, no. I don't blame anyone personally. I just think it's a thing that the community needs to think about, if that makes sense.
And I'm not gonna try to shift blame, but I think it is also kind of like a product of MCDM having a lot of focus and talking a lot about art.
Yes.
And also having a third-party community who also values art very much.
Yes.
We end up having a skewed perception or about how how easy it is to do art. Because when you look at some of the third-party stuff being published for Draw Steel, the art is very, very, very good and very expensive. And when
interesting,
when people when people make these things that in their free time as part of a jam, it's very cool. I mean, the art for the Azimuths is incredible. It's drawn by the designer. It's insane. But then again, that gets hard. It makes stuff like just like this text kind of pale. Oh, that's not intentional. But pale. It makes it pale in comparison.
Pale
I 100% agree. The Asimov art was unbelievable.
Yeah.
I just said but no, I agree. I 100% agree. Art is important. It's part of the design. I think it's important with AI and stuff that we value human art, even if it's not as good compared to no art or stock imagery or using computer assets and kind of putting them together. That's my stance. And that's why stuff like your Woodling? Is that what I remember correctly? Got so highly is because I think that's a great use of art. Like, I immediately knew who that guy was. I would like one. If you ever make plushies of them, they will sit right here.
Yeah, make plushies. Such a good idea.
There's an artist.
A plushie manufacturer.
Kind of see. I really wanted to work with them for the ancestry, but they unfortunately don't take commissions. But Beacorns.
Oh,
nice.
I don't know if people know about David M. Bird, but they're basically little here. Hold on a second. Little acorn dudes.
Nice.
Anyway,
that's going to be the end of the stream. A discussion about the importance of art and
fruitful discussion.
Gems.
Yeah.
If I'm going to be on this show one time, I want to be memorable,
Now we gotta see how many clips will Frederica make out of this.
So I want to thank my fellow panelists for coming on. It was great of you to spend what turned out to be over 2 hours doing this.
Sorry for getting so off topic
A pleasure.
so many times.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
I'm just noticing some of the chat. Both Arcvane, who's an artist themselves, authenticity was what matters most when making and appreciating art. And also, Atomic Sorcery says MCDM's art community is why I'm comfortable putting out my ugly little imps alongside all these amazing people.
100%. If it wasn't such an amazing, inclusive community, and we all work so hard every day, everyone in the community, like you wouldn't. I've been in the D&D space for 10 years. I made like 3 videos on it. It's like I don't want to be involved in this. The Draw Steel community, I want to make videos for. It's amazing. You guys are all amazing people.
Thank you, Frederica.
So
and go check out Until the Last.
You know what? Triglav has gotten actually, and then we're gonna have to discuss some kind of compensation after. You've gotten so much free advertising.
I can be your manager. I know how much.
It's not my fault with the
them.
cool stuff.
You know, actually, I wonder if I'll see an increase in sales because of how spicy your take was, Frederica, on the Stewards of the Sleeping Lands. So
It was. Let me know. I can let you know if my rates if you ever want me to just like if it goes well, I can just rant about it on the video.
Very well.
You know.
We'll talk.
Are we getting like the Stewards of the Sleeping Lands Frederica edition? Where
Oh shit!
Oh yeah.
No. I
Version
can't ever put anything out
2.0.
because then people would like take my things I've said about things and be like, you said this thing about this thing and you did the
look,
thing. And I'm
yeah,
like, oh no,
that's the
it's
danger.
too late for me.
But in your thing.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, panelists, for joining me. The
Thank you,
Goblins
John.
in residence this time has been me. I'm John Denor. We've got Paul. Where can people find you, Paul?
Oh, hey, you can find me online as Heart of Arcana. If you just search Heart of Arcana, it's not the JRPG. It's me, Paul Ligorski, making stuff for Draw Steel.
And Ananam.
Ribbit.
Look up Trickle Love Games, I guess.
Yeah, and Mateusz Ananam Malarski on Blue Sky. You can find me there. And you can probably see me on the MCDM's Discord. And Triglove Games also has their own Discord, so see you there.
Yes. And last but very much not least, Hot Take Machine Frederica.
That is the channel. No, you can catch more of my opinions on Frederica. I'm literally Frederica Tever on YouTube. I wasn't very inventive when I came up with the channel. The tagline, if you're interested, is I think it's my job to turn you from a Draw Steel DM from a D&D DM into a Draw Steel director. God, I'm getting tired over here. And yeah, you can come check out the channel. There's lots of good stuff. Yeah. So far, people seem to be enjoying it a lot.
Okay, good people of the stream. Thank you for watching, and we'll be, or some of us will be back next month. Snuggies.
Bye.
Bye.